Well, finally, guys, one of the big names finally signed, and he is going to the Giants. Now, the Giants are extremely competitive with the Dodgers with this signing, and their roster is looking pretty deadly, if I'm going to be honest with you. Let's get into it.
This ball crushed off the bat of Jorge Soler.
How about that? Does that work? Long drive for Jorge Soler.
First pitch to deep right center. Friedel on the track, leaps at the wall, and it's gone.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Touching Bases podcast. And today, Jorge Soler signed with the Giants, and he's going to be most likely their DH that's going to replace Joc Pederson. As I see on their fan graphs, that he's going to be taking the DH spot, batting number 4, which is pretty expected given how terrible he is in the outfield defensively. And his bat is really the only reason why you would sign him. Now, what did they sign him for? The club hasn't confirmed this, but from what MLB reports are saying, that he signed a 3-year, $42 million contract that includes a $9 million bonus with his signing. Now, I believe this is pending a physical, but everything should be good there as he doesn't have any injuries. We can take a little bit deeper look into what Jorge Soler has offered the last few teams that he's played for, which would include the Cubs, the Royals, the Braves, and the Marlins last year, which basically what put him on the big radar. Last season, he hit 36 home runs for the Marlins, which is obviously the reason why they probably made it to the playoffs last season, while also slashing a .250 batting average, .341 on base percentage, and a .512 slugging percentage. And also, not to mention, his OPS was at an .853. I mean, it's exactly what you're looking for. Looking at Baseball Savant, he's pretty much all in the red. Now, his base running and his fielding are obviously terrible. Those two are at the 12th percentile, and he's not even qualified to be in the rankings as far as his fielding ability. It's that bad. But him being a DH, it does make sense because I think he barely played or didn't play at all in the field last year for the Marlins. His batting run value is at the 67th percentile. Now, this isn't exactly what you expect from a star hitter, especially one that's making $42 million in 3 years. But with his expectations going into the new season here with the Giants officially, his expecting batting average is going to go up, and they're expecting him to hit about a .262 batting average, which again doesn't put him in the high percentile, but it's everything else after that. His slugging percentage is expected to be in the 94th percentile, hitting a .532, which is very good and exactly what the Giants needed. They really needed that big bat to fill the DH slot. His average exit velocity is obviously always on the higher end. In fact, in the last 8 seasons that he's been playing in the MLB, he's always in the top 6% in the MLB for his max exit velocity. A lot of these years, he was actually in the top 1% of the MLB as far as his max exit velocity. What does this mean? If you're not too familiar with it, your exit velocity is just the measurement of how fast you're hitting the ball off the bat. What you might not know is his barrel percentage is at the 91st percentile. 15% of the time, he's barreling up the ball. He also walks at 11.4%, which means he's going to get on base. He knows what to look for. When he finds his pitch, he hits the shit out of the ball. Now, his K rate is not exactly the best in the business at this point. He does strike out he's expected to strike out about 24% of the time. Now, for a DH with a big bat, that's not exactly terrible, but you definitely want to get those numbers down. If you guys follow the fan graphs, they plotted him as the number 4 hitter in between LaMonte Wade Jr. and Michael Conforto, which seems to make sense because LaMonte Wade Jr. gets on base a lot more of the time. He's not one of those big power hitters, and he's got some speed behind him. And then to follow him, if Soler does not follow through, Conforto has been really showing his power in the last season and could clear out the bases or knock him in if he gets a double or a triple out of it. Highly doubt a triple just because Soler's not exactly the fastest guy on the bases. Following after Michael Conforto is Wilmer Flores, and as you guys know, last year he was a power hitter. Now, if Fangraphs has him as number 6 in the batting order, I would assume that he would be actually the number 5, but strategy, and I completely understand. You have big bats in the middle of the lineup, and they're all really good as far as last year. Last year, Wilmer Flores only struck out 13% of the time and walked 9% of the time. He slashed a .284, .355, and a .509, which was, I believe, the best on the team last season, and now putting him at 6, it's kind of just adding some more power to the end of the lineup. That's if Fangraph is accurate, but I don't see why not. They typically get this right most of the time. Now, on average, based on the projections of multiple different places for his WAR, Jorge Soler looks like he's going to put out around 2.0 WAR, but these projections were a little bit all over the place, and I say 2.0 because there are some that were as low as 0.9 for his WAR, but also had some that were as high as 2.3. It's very much back and forth, but the median is right around Oakland 2.0. I don't know why they're so much more lower. I guess they don't have high expectations being at a new stadium, but being a right-handed hitter in San Francisco, I feel like it should be a decent fit for him, and he should be able to hit a few home runs and keep that slugging percentage up and really be an asset to the Giants. I can't exactly say I'm a big Giants fan, but seeing their team and seeing how they're growing and how they are spending money now and signing players to stay competitive to the Dodgers, who is going to be their obvious big kryptonite this season going in the NL West. It's more exciting to not just have a juggernaut in the NL West that's just going to dominate everybody else. The Giants, as I put in a previous video, seem like they're probably going to be able to compete pretty well, and they're going to be contenders, especially now that they've added that bat and replaced their DH spot, which was pretty much empty up until this point. Thank you guys for watching today. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you guys join the community. I'm sorry, but my last video was a little bit controversial, but I was having some serious issues and some arguments with local podcasts that decided to try and silence the fans' opinions and block them out, which is not cool. I think this is a community and we should always do that. So with that said, comment below if you disagree with me, if you think Soler should have went somewhere else, or if you think it's going to hurt the Giants in the long run. Honestly, we all know about Jorge Soler, and we're all looking forward to seeing him in a Giants uniform now to see how he performs. Would I have liked to see him go to a couple other teams? Yeah, maybe, but honestly, it's probably a good fit because the Giants do really need still to pick up a few more players, and I would say probably focus more on their starting pitching and call it good for their starting lineup. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.